Hey, if you have earbuds in, take them out. Now's your chance. This car is, in a word, it's nuts. And it's got to be the most craziest, most performance-oriented family sedan ever made. And this thing is also a study in dichotomy, right? Two opposing forces. This car's performance is absurd. It's over the top. However, it's as easy and docile to drive as, say, a Civic or a Corolla. The amount of horsepower this car has is absurd. It's over the top. It really is. It's craziness. However, it gets better gas mileage than my Chevy Tahoe PPV. And the look is pure sex on wheels. However, the majority of folks who see this car don't even recognize what makes it special. That's if they even know it's a Mercedes. This is my new to me 2007 Mercedes S65 bi-turbo V12 scream machine. Bam. The economies of this car go way beyond that though. For instance, the tint on the windows, on the driver and passenger side front windows, that looks so good on this car with the blacked out look, it can't stay. I got to scrape it off. It's illegal here in Delaware. I can't go through inspection with that. The exhaust that sounds fantastic, right, is the result of the 4 catalytic converters being taken out and a custom downpipe installed. Adds more horsepower, adds that great sound, but it won't pass emissions. The vinyl graphics on the windshield here, and again on the back window, it's just annoying looking. That's got to go. And then finally the paint, which shines and is just so beautiful. You can see there's all kinds of water etching in it, and it needs a complete paint correction. But oh man, what a ride this thing is. It's a rocket ship on wheels. So let me show you around and give you a quick tour real fast. If you're familiar with Mercedes sedans in the US market, they have 3 different models, small, medium, and large. C was the small, E was the midsize, and S was the big car. Within the S-Class, there was multiple tiers also, and the S65, that was the halo car. Starting in the rear, you have probably what's the most pathetic backup camera you've ever seen in your life, and I'll show you more of that when we get inside. Down below, you have quad, massive exhaust tips. Those things are huge. You have special skirting. You have pretty cringy looking carbon fiber inlays on the taillights. That may get replaced at some point. Super cool S65 badging. In the trunk, it's nothing special. However, look what I found way over here. That 10mm everyone's been looking for. I found it. It's like a black hole back here. Underneath the floor is the spare, which is a mess that I need to put back together again. Auto closed trunk lid. How cool is that? The wheels, 20 inches, 275 35s in the rear, 255s up front. The rotors are over 14 inches in diameter. All the doors are soft close. Pretty cool. Special skirting along the rocker panel. The sexiest, coolest badge you ever put on a car. Up front, cornering lights, which is nice to see, make a comeback again. Cars here in the United States, they had these in the 60s and 70s. They went away for a while, but it's nice that they're back. Active headlights, bi-xenon headlights. So the headlights swivel back and forth based on the steering wheel movement. Pretty cool. Special skirting down here. Again, more that cheesy carbon fiber. Same thing with the grille, more right here. Somewhere along here is active cruise control, which may be right up there on the windshield. And there's also night vision assist as well. Oh, and you have these little pop-out headlight washers that end up splattering the whole car with spray when you use them. Under the hood is 6-liter twin-turbo V12 engine. You can't see a single thing. It's all wrapped up under the cover. That battery is specifically and only for starting the engine. Here's your fuse panel, and underneath the fuse panel is also the ECU, which we'll talk about shortly as well. Inside the car, black interior, all leather, Alcantara everywhere else. Everywhere you look, there's a myriad of buttons and controls and switches. It's just, literally, it's overwhelming with all the switches, everything going on inside here. Out back, it's the same exact thing. Crazy number of switches and buttons. There's air vents and controls. There's more switches down here. Center armrest as well. Storage spots. The rear headrests are power operated. There's sunshades on the side and on the back window. And there's a panoramic sunroof as well. Look, being inside this car is a very, very nice place to be. But before I can get on the road, before I can get a license plate, I got to do something that's going to pain me. I got to scrape off that tint on those front driver and passenger side windows and the stickers on the back. That way I can run through inspection. I could fail for emissions. I know it's going to fail right away, but at the very least, I should be able to get a paper license plate. Gives me 30 days of driving time while I figure out the catalytic converters. Let's get going. So it took about an hour or so to pull the tint off the side windows. I just did the two front. I don't like the look of it at all. It's so mismatched between the front and the back, so I don't know if I'm going to pull the tint off the back eventually or retint the front. When I pulled the tint off the front, the etching on the glass transferred over to the tint. Kind of funny. When I was scraping down the windows, check this out. Double pane glass. And you see at the top, there's a film sandwiched between the two layers of glass. So I jumped on Google to take a look to see what that was all about, and I found out it's option code 595, which is double pane, heat insulated, infrared reflecting safety glass on the side windows and the back glass as well. Kind of cool. Sounds expensive. You know what else is expensive? Brake rotors. I had looked up some maintenance parts on the car. $1,000 a piece for the front rotors. Crazy. The calipers, $800 a piece. It's got to be profiteering. I see no other reason why this stuff would cost that much. Luckily, some basic maintenance items like spark plugs, normal price. You know, like good plugs, $5 a piece, times 24. Yeah, there's 2 spark plugs for each cylinder. Just nuts. All right, with that all done, with the tint off, let's jump in the car. We're going to run to the DMV, see if I can get that temporary tag. And while we're in there, I'll tell you a little more about the car, too. This car has so much technology, so many features to it. It's really just overwhelming. Something as simple as just getting the seat adjusted is like a challenge for me. It truly is. I'm not used to this much technology. And my 88 Plymouth Grand Fury, the seat simply went forwards and backwards. That's all it did. That's all you got. This, I mean, there's like a million different movements and positions. And just, you can change the lumbar position, the firmness of it. It's just too much, frankly. And I haven't been able to find a nice position yet for the seats. Now, one of the first things I realized when I first got into this car, my very first drive on it, was the throttle position, the throttle sensing. And I think it's mapped differently based on the different speeds that you're going. I mean, I don't know for sure, but it feels like you need a lot of throttle to get going, right? In a normal car, you put it in drive, it starts creeping, starts moving forward, and it starts going a little faster and faster, right? This doesn't do that at all. I mean, it creeps just a little. It doesn't speed up. It takes a lot of throttle, I think, to get going. But at any time, if you squeeze the throttle, man, it just takes off like a slingshot, like a shotgun. Stock horsepower, 605. This thing has been Eurocharged, which means there's an electronic tune that went to it, where you have to take the ECU out and send it out, get it tuned. Eurocharged adds 100 more horsepower to this. Then the custom downpipes, which eliminate the catalytic converters, that adds another 30 or 35. Grand total, 740 horsepower. 740 horsepower! It's nuts. The most throttle I've given this thing is half. I've gone half throttle, and literally, you throw back in the seat, all your organs get sucked back like this. It's insane. It's nuts, and it's a little intimidating at the same time. Now, when we went and picked this car up, it was in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I bought it from a guy named David Hister. Wonderful guy to work with. I mean, he was so accommodating. We actually jumped on Amtrak. It was my wife, my two youngest kids. We jumped on Amtrak, and if you've never traveled by train before, it's just a fantastic way to go. Money, though. $400 for the four of us to go, what, 125 miles or so from Wilmington, Delaware to Fredericksburg, Virginia. David, he picked us up at the train station, took us over to this house, showed us the car, we did the paperwork, and we started to drive back home. Now, we made a day trip out of it. It was really a really nice way to travel, a really nice day to spend together. We ended up going through Washington, D.C. We stopped at this little town called Havre de Grace for dinner, right on the river. It was a wonderful view. It was just a wonderful experience. The whole day trip was just fantastic. And the reason I share all that is because when I'm buying cars, they have to be kid-friendly. I mean, it's essential, right? I'm not buying two-seaters. I'm not buying little sports cars. I'm doing the pickup from school. I'm dropping the kids off from school. We're running errands. The time that I'm in my car is when I'm with the kids. I mean, this thing has to fit 5 of us, right? And this thing does it in spades. And the amount of luxury, the amount of style and performance this thing gives is insane. Sticker price for this thing when it was new, $190,000. $190,000. Nuts. Depreciation is my friend, though. After 13 years of depreciating, this thing is down to around 15% of MSRP, which is insane value for what you get. So aside from the electronic tune, this thing also has been lowered, and it has adjustable links on the adjustable suspension. And those links allow you to change the ride height from ultra low to medium. You can go higher, but it also has a button on the dash that allows you to change the ride height as well. Before we headed to Virginia to pick up this car, I was able to stop at the DMV and get a temporary license plate just to be able to drive home. It gave me 5 days worth of driving time, and basically after the 5th day, the car just sat in the garage, and I cleaned it and was detailing it and getting it ready. I've actually bought this car 2 months ago, picked it up a month ago, and now just getting to the DMV. $20, got my temporary tag, got 30 days of driving time now. I'm back legal again on the road. They did a safety inspection, checked the brakes, the turn signals, the headlights, high beams, low beams, stuff like that. Everything went fine. It failed just as expected for the emissions because of the catalytic converters. I'm gonna get the temp tag on the car. We'll get back on the road, man. Let's go. Car is such a blast to drive. Definitely classy, definitely out of my league at the same time. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're having fun with it too. I got so much more to share with you about this car, and I can't wait to do that with these future videos. Hope you enjoyed this, and as always, thanks so much for watching.